are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Well, quite a busy day. Still in the middle of my move. It's apparent they cursed the religious items based upon their ability to stalk, based upon fabricated cases and fabricated risk. Then they'll say, well, nobody acts like that. Well, you treat me like this, I'll act like that. But I've never been physically violent, but for one experience that could be kind of said that, and that's when I was drugged and had a reckless driving experience. They surreptitiously drugged. I've been surreptitiously drugged since then. But if you speak to spies, because I do, and I'm psychic and everybody knows that, and that's how I communicate with spies, over time, because they're calling these people amateurs, because there's no reason to do it to begin with, so they're psychotic. Their life would be better if my life was good, and they all know that. And they go to bosses and they tell their bosses bullshit, and the bosses finance all this stuff around me. And that's government and private sector bosses. Thank you, Larry. But they say they're amateurs because if you drug somebody too much, they develop ways around the effects of the drugs. They're brain rewires. My brain rewired to beat surreptitious drugging. Now, of course, if they drug me enough, if I were to just go to restaurants and eat freely, they would drug me and I would be overcome by whatever it is and probably get shot by a cop because my behavior would be so erratic. And again, the idea of being shot by a cop means this. Wouldn't necessarily have to happen, but your cops here, before I arrived, were paid and given instructions to kill me, as well as other people here in the community. So again, they would do it. And quite possibly that family was on the outs. I don't know that kid or his family. But the reality is the George Floyd thing doesn't happen until it happens. But those people get that way based upon being psychological criminals. They go around applying what they call investigative techniques and what they call risk-based assessment or intelligence techniques. It's all a lie. Even if they ever use it right, when they use it right or correctly, it's because what they'll do is when they finally arrest somebody, they do and goes, that's what that person's like. And your answer should be, that's not what that person's like, because that person didn't do that. But give them time, and people in your community will do those things. I'm talking about 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I don't know if they've operated anybody more than 40 years. If they're operating a family, it could go longer. Like a family with money can survive it much more easily, and that's why they blocked me from making any more money in my retirement. And they actually blocked me from my retirement, but they couldn't do it because they know what they do. They don't allow the person to go back to work, and they become homeless, or they sell drugs, or they rob a bank, or they get so frustrated that they hit somebody or rape a woman because they're sexually. What they're doing is they're wiring their victims to handle stress via sexual activity, whether it's self-sexual or sexual with someone else. Again, your cops are driving around this community today willing somebody to rape a woman, healed lady, healed man across the street. And look, these people can't even stay healed, and they're millionaires. Most of these people in this community here probably have $1 million. Some a little less, but the majority, yeah. That's why I'm here. They want to be healed. That's why I live here. That's where I have lived in mostly communities like that. Until you all did what? Had some fun with Trump, didn't you? And the others that are part of it. There are Democrats that are part of it also. So they're driving around whittling rape, whittling murder. They're devils, man. They curse people. Oh, but what? Answer 911 calls. If not less, if you devil. It doesn't work at that. So he spent all weekend cursing my. That's what happened to the ark. Every time I moved it, they looked on the camera and cursed it. And they say you don't deserve it, but your church deserves stuff. It does not exist on this planet. And if you don't want to accept that, Jesus said, "Don't spend the money on that." But you're deep state, right? You and your church deep state. That's one where the Republicans only fight deep state. Reveal themselves because they're projectionists, projecting what they are. Look, there they go. And that's what you do. That's a double projection, huh? They projected at me. Or a reverse projection, I guess. Something like that. All right, let's heal this down here at bottom of 119th and Neiman. That fence will not be there in the future if we don't heal it. They'll try to run through it. Well, the alcohol's good, the drugs are good in this community. You should realize part of the torture is I love Broncos. They blocked me from getting a real Bronco, other than that broken down 93 I had. And the Challenger, that's all Satan. It could be affecting other people. I'm not saying it's only focused on me, but I'm a big one. Satan is trying to torment me and torture me. All the houses around here where I live now are the houses that I've looked at in my life, and they block me from them. When they can't block me metaphysically, then they get physical with it. There's going to be an accident here at Switzer and 119th. Heal that. Somebody's going to be rear-ended across the intersection, and then about another 20, 30 feet. Thank you much. And I mean high speed. It could be one of those things where the person doesn't realize that it's a red light or something like that. Or even if it turns green, doesn't see the vehicle in front of them. That one happens too. I'm trying to see what showed me that. It was the person looking in the rearview mirror is one of them. I don't know what the other one was. I get the other. Was the other? Oh, the other one was from the person that was involved, and the person that hits the other person. Because it's on the subconscious screen in your brain, but I can see my subconscious because I'm conscious. Like somebody else might just get a premonition, a bad feeling, a gut feeling. Right. Well, the gifts fail, so not everything is perfect, but when you see something like that, you can almost guarantee. 100%. Again, the way to do it is you curse the thing that comes against you, and whoever is connected to it is going to be cursed. You may not see anything happen in their life. Again, you give it to God. You're not cursing something without God. That's the difference. You give God the way to do it on this planet, because this is not the Father's kingdom, but you have way and status in this place. So you can give your way and status over to God, giving it all to God. Well, because you're going. I try to explain it to a lot of people that see them, and I say, well, you don't know if it's them. I know the entities are corrupt. I know that. There's no doubt about that. I know the people that physically operated me are corrupt. Right? But I could if you're psychic and the gifts were perfect, you could walk down the street and know which person was a devil. Jesus was doing that, right? Right. But the gifts aren't perfect, so I tell people you don't know if that, because that could be the cursed person. That's what they generally do. It's kind of a reversal. And that's why politics exists, to get you to go after somebody instead of the person that's actually doing it to you. People that are actually doing it to you probably don't even see. They drive by and pay a bunch of people to harass you. So I downsized my trailer. A U-Haul came back online. They were having some issues. Right. So U-Haul came back online, and I got rid of the truck. And I was going to get a big trailer, but I can't sit around today and do nothing. So I'm going to go move. So if I got a call, Extended Stay America, I perceive somebody corrupt already called them and said, don't refund the money. But we'll see. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. You know, somebody that, you know, it's in their security department or something that used to work for the FBI or used to be a chief somewhere. 100%. That's how they did it. Only the corrupt officers get those great retirement jobs, unless, you know, there's a couple places that didn't fall, but most places fell. They'll only hire the corrupt people. The corrupt system tells them to hire, and then they get, you know, a new house or new car. That's not the game of life, or that's the game of Satan, or the reality of Satan, should I say, because it's not a game. Thank you, Lord. Like, I never really looked at it, how rich all these people were. I got rid of it. I just like, I want to do my job. I enjoy coming to work, and now I learned this, and I learned this, and you know, the internet was fun, and, you know, doing studies and stuff like that. But here they were working for criminal enterprise, and that's why they don't have to do anything. Some do stuff, but they only do what they want to do. 100%. Nah, they didn't make money, honestly. No doubt. Thank you. Shadow remunerated. The war, remember, I think I said this, maybe you didn't hear me, maybe I said it somewhere else. The war in Ukraine against Russia, those are two criminal gangs fighting each other. And they have contacts in the United States that they make rich. In other words, if they screw you off, then Russia comes in and remunerates them. Like Trump, they got people staying at his hotel like it's gone out of style. And the Russia connected, MAGA connected, you know, but it's MAGA's enterprise. It's like a mafia. There's people in MAGA that attacked my life. I don't think I brought that up too much. I didn't want to draw light to it back then. They're spike. They have paramilitaries in the United States. Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, China. They all have paramilitaries, and they're paid shadow money. There's overt activity, but the real damage is the covert activity. They're selling your birthright so they can be remunerated. So what they do is they sell some land, and they get paid, you know, a gazillion times what they paid for it. And again, at this point, super PACs are financing a lot of it because you pay somebody from the super PAC to do quote unquote political work, but they're really like Project Veritas. They're a criminal spy entity. They did their spy stuff to get the person, the gotcha. They took Bob Hamilton off those trucks. Is that evil or what? No, Bob! That's evil. That shows you how your community's degrading. Here in Lenexa, they took Bob Hamilton off the trucks. Well, people see Bob and they wave. 100%. These are the signs that your community is turning into something else. Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. Why'd I go this way? Because they probably want me to pass their police station and send all the cars out and swirl around me and curse me like little devils. That just shows you their will screw shit up. So these are mafias, and they're enriching people in the United States. No, it isn't the game of life because you're committing felony crimes to do it. But that's where their scam comes in. Crime is what we say it is. So what they'll do is they'll get somebody to believe they committed a crime or get somebody to commit a crime, and then they let them in and say, we get to say who gets arrested, right? That's really what they do. Look, you did this to me for at least 30 years. Again, I didn't know what it was for about, I guess, 10, 15 years. I knew something was there at a certain point. I figured the courthouse was under attack by something, but it turned out to be corrupt people. Now I'll accept this. What is this place? I think it's like Pawnee or something. Apache. The Apaches. Again, the Apaches come up. What was happening? I was speaking about the land that was being sold. Right. The Apache school system, the Apache elementary school. I like the location of that school. Off the beaten path. 100%. Actually, I could have made. No, I'm not going there. See, they're trying to get me. What they're trying to do is to say I'm going to attack people at the hotel, and they're trying to get me to drive by the hotel, and I'm trying to avoid that, except driving down Lenexa Drive. Your minds are not protecting the community when you're spending all your willpower to do that. That's the point. They're converting all the power you vest in them to destroy the world and make themselves look famously wonderful. And of course, eventually it gets to them. The George Floyd thing, that kid that was killed. That's a bad shoot. There's no doubt. Although there may have been mitigating circumstances, and I find lack of appropriate training as one of those mitigating circumstances. Now, if you don't change your training, then you're responsible the next time it happens or something like it. Well, because law enforcement training teaches you to attack the threat. Oh, hi, police officer. Thank you, Larry. So what happens is in a situation, I mean, if you're not a knucklehead, you won't attack the threat. And people that are real cops, what a knucklehead is. 100%. But they can't say anything because that's the system. Knuckleheads are wonderful because they kill people. So it teaches them to attack the threat. So they're not being told not to attack the threat. There's no balance. So under stress, your brain wires into something, and in training, that simulated stress, again, it would be a scenario fulfillment to a certain degree, that something was happening. I didn't shoot somebody, but I went through scenario fulfillment before, on a couple occasions when I was working. Right. But I had to realize what was going on. 100%. So what has to happen is you have to now, as far as his severance package, well, it's probably lawfully his. I'm not somebody focusing on that. What the family should do is focus on retraining, and I think they got there. I think we training, but there's no. I don't think there's now the one attorney. What case was that? Not supposed to shoot. I found that the shooting could happen, but I think the attorney was, and the attorney's right. There is a system to not shoot, but you have to be trained not to do it. Now, could that cause a disruption for the officer if they're in a dangerous situation? No, it's just providing the brain the option. I don't even think the millisecond would matter if there was a necessity to think through it. But that's what's happening. People are becoming psychologically abusive as officers, and they call it an investigative technique or what's this lady doing? Got a strange car or something here. Now, see, I called that officer a lady. What does that mean? Sir, ma'am, that kind of thing. So she is an elevated person. Now, the key to that is to be a servant. Again, that there's a fake sir, ma'am going on the planet. I mean, I don't mind calling people sir, ma'am. I like elevating people like that. Bob, how you doing? Got one lone van left. So, right. So the training program is insufficient. There needs to be counter training. Give me a second. God's talking to me. I'm putting my code in the gate thing. Okay, so they have too much area control. In other words, you should be ruling your own life. What they'll say is they have to rule your life because you can't rule your own life. While they attack you and make it look like you can't rule your own life. And then when they rule your life, they're attacking you. So again, I can't get into that office, but something's trumping it now. Probably God. God showed me. I need to go in the office here and make sure that I know I'm checking out. But it costs me more money if all of a sudden it didn't right. I have to pay additional money. They do it to me every time I move. This happened in Indianapolis. They charged me an extra month because the lady moved out that was managing it before. But it's intentional. Big money, asshole money, or money theft. 100%. That's how deep state operates. They steal. There are three separate people told me that I had a credit and I don't have to worry about moving out. The only question is how much I would get back. So one of the men that told me that was the guy who was checking me out. He asked for the credit card. I figured, okay, here comes the credit. My extra $500 something. He charged me $500 something. I don't care what your policy is. The people at your desk are the ones that set the policy when they're asked questions. 3 people told me that I had credit on my account to the next month. So stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.